Becky
and Billy.
We are coming back to you with another video today to talk to you more about our business boutique adventure.
Yeah, so what we're going to talk about today is Dave Ramsey, who is one of my personal favorites.
Absolutely.
Sometimes his name can be a bad name in our household because I talk about him so much, and everything we do, every decision we make involves his principles, which is it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to hear about him from a business perspective too.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to kind of talk through some lessons that we took away from the session. So I'll let you go ahead and start, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, so kind of like what you're saying too, Billy, is like for us, I think it's, this has been a common name in our household for a long time.
Yes.
But seeing him in person, just like he has so much energy.
Yes.
So I think he's so passionate about what he's talking about. So for me, I think that kind of took it up another notch, and just like how I really respect him.
Yeah.
But he came up with some really good. He kind of went through like the do's and the don'ts, if you will. If you guys don't follow him, we encourage you to.
Yes.
You'll find out all kinds of information, like even being in the financial industry for years, there's still things that I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I know.
Definitely. Of course, so common sense.
It is, and it's very common sense. It's very practical. It doesn't take a financial advisor to do this stuff.
That's
it's
true.
Just common day things that everybody can do.
Yeah. So we've got our book here. So we may be looking down a little bit, just to kind of remind ourselves there's some of the points that he brought up. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. The one thing that he talked about for me that really kind of resonated was he kept talking about is like be outrageous in like your generosity.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know, the way that really hit me is like sometimes you can't be outrageous in your giving from a generosity perspective. Like that doesn't mean money.
Right.
I mean, not only money.
Sure. That can be anything. Your time, your presence, and how many times, that we're sitting on the couch with our phones in our hands, not being present with our kids or our spouses.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean just being generous with your money. It's generous with time and in your presence. So
yeah,
I like that a lot.
That's one that just really resonated for me. The other thing that he talked about, and we've been talking about this, we cannot remember the name of the book that he referred to.
So good.
Maybe we'll see if we can find that and add this here. But he talked about this cup that was a specific kind of cup that had like almost like what I would think of like a wine glass or a goblet at the top. And then underneath, kind of like the stick of the wine glass, was like another bowl. And the way he explained it is like that we pour in so much and that we get so full ourselves that then we start to overflow.
Yeah.
And that overflow then is captured in that bowl. And for me, I was like, oh my gosh, is the concept of that, like to know that we have to be real intentional about keeping ourselves full so that we can also, be able to give back like that.
Yeah, and then that outpour goes out to everybody else. So I thought that was so good. And I loved just that concept of that overflow and capturing that overflow in the bowl.
Yeah.
So that you can share that. So I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'd love to hear too if you guys have heard of it. Feel free to share it.
Yeah. Like
I said, he kind of just went into a really basic explanation of it. And I just thought it was really, really good. The other thing, so we're sitting here today and it's the brand new year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Here we
2020,
go.
brand new decade too. It's crazy.
So, of course, like we can't sit here and have this conversation with you guys without bringing that up, right? How many of us have, our top goals is to be more conscious or mindful or intentional about our money as we go into the new year.
That's definitely something we're working on. It's just getting rid of some debt this year.
Yes. When we moved from our previous house, we downsized a little bit, and through that, like just getting rid of so much, like you just feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
So even from a financial perspective, like, gosh, I see pictures. One of the things that he does so well is like people will constantly have like kind of a chalkboard that says like I paid off
debt-free screen.
Yeah,
that's gonna be us one day.
I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, I love that too because it's visual and it's something that they can get involved in.
Yes.
I love that, the debt-free screen that's coming.
That's super, super cool. Yeah. And one thing that I really like about that, I don't know about you, Billy, but what I'm starting to see is more and more of like our younger generation they're making really good financial decisions.
Right.
I would say better than our generation.
Right.
And
they're probably learning a little bit from our mistakes, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope our kids are.
For sure. But I think like there's just so much to that we can learn from them, and you know, by continuing to be mindful about, you know, what we're spending.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially going into the new year.
Yeah. And there's one other thing too that he said that I really loved, and he said create a dream, but do it in a way that's responsible or it will become a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so good because, you know, this was a business conference, but I can apply that to my life too. You know, a few years ago, we bought a home that I really, really wanted, but, you know, it's been more of a financial stress to us really than it has been a blessing. And so, you know, I think those decisions are things that we really need to think about.
Definitely.
Especially going into the new year. You know, if you want to dream of a new home, do it the right way and save for it appropriately so you have a bigger down payment, you have smaller payments. But you know, that's something that we didn't really do, and it has become kind of a stress for us. So so I thought that was really good. You know, if you want to dream, do it the right way though, so that it doesn't become that nightmare for you.
Yeah, he kept saying like, be wise, don't be stupid.
Yeah, he's pretty direct.
In your face sometimes.
Yeah, but he does it in a loving way.
Yeah,
so I love that.
He does. The other thing too that I was thinking about as you're wrapping that up is it's never too late though. You know, when you think about like those decisions that we've got ourselves in that we're just like, oh, okay, like you said, like don't make it be the nightmare. But I want you guys to really stop and think about like, it doesn't matter what's going on today, right? Like start where you are and start making better choices. Right?
Yeah.
And I guess for me, like just with the new year, like I'm thinking a lot about that. So I want you guys to think about that too. Yeah. Don't look at it and be like, oh my gosh, you know, here's this thing that was so wrong or that I could have made a better decision on it. And don't spin your wheels there very long.
Right.
Learn from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And, you know, this is the very first day of 2020, but no matter when you watch this, there's nothing magical about January 1st, really.
That's so
I mean,
true.
we've just placed this, you know, intention on it. But you can start any day. It doesn't have to be January 1st, like Becky said. So if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you know, get unstuck, get out, push a little bit and get to that point because you can do this anytime for sure.
Absolutely. And it kind of brings us to our call of action, if you will. Like what I really keep thinking about is like he's got some really cool online resources. I think a lot of it's free.
It is.
But there's some of it that you do have to pay for, like he's got an app.
I think the Every Dollar app. It's awesome.
So I think the way it works, kind of like with his envelope. So walk me through that. And
we've used it. And so you basically put all your expenses and then all of your income sources. And his goal is really to have a $0 left over. So all of your money needs to be accounted for. So you've got it spread out evenly between, you know, your your utilities, your bills, your debts, everything. And that's really great because that means your money is allotted for and you're not using it to buy, you know, silly purchases or just kind of
haphazardly.
Haphazardly, exactly.
Because how often is it if you don't track it, like you're gonna spend it somewhere.
Yeah, and you know, you may not stop buying at that $5 coffee if you know that money's not really allotted for that. So it really just brings a lot of focus on making sure you're using your money wisely. So it's a great app. And then he has his podcast too that's really good.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've listened to his podcast a couple of times, but every time I do, I'm like, why do I not listen to this more?
I don't know, because it's just practical, right? It's again, it's nothing that anybody can do it. He has it for kids too. The financial piece for children. They did it at our church this summer for the young kids, and so they always brought some stuff home and some resources, which was really, really good. Yeah. So it's for anybody, and just check those out. They're really, really good.
Yeah, so that kind of wraps up. Was there anything else that you could think of?
No, I think we're good. Okay. Yeah.
So I think that kind of wraps up our discussion today about the Business Boutique. we'll continue. We've got a couple more of these sessions
Yeah.
just to kind of wrap up this series. And we'd love for you guys to share, like, let us know, questions that you have, or even things that you've seen maybe by watching, the Dave Ramsey.
Yeah. Share them with us. We'll
Yeah.
take them.
We need help as much as everybody
Absolutely.
else. And be sure to like, share, follow us on all the places.
Instagram,
YouTube,
Facebook, LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So again, you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.